Fidchell gwyddbwyll was an ancient Celtic board game. The name in both Irish and Welsh is a compound translating to wood, since the fact that the compound is identical in both languages demonstrates that the name is of extreme antiquity. The game is occasionally claimed to be a predecessor of the modern game chess. The game was played between two people who moved pieces across a board. The board shared its name with the game played upon it. The name has evolved into Fidchell, the Irish word for chess. The similar gwyddbwyll is the name for chess in modern Welsh history. Fidchell is mentioned often in ancient Celtic legends and lore, but the exact form of the game is open to speculation, due to lack of detail on the rules, playing pieces, and a board. What is clear is that it was played on a board, with opposing sets of pieces in equal numbers. It should not be confused with games like game.The, which involved a king in the center and pieces in a 2-to-1 ratio. One text reads, Lethafwani gwyddbwyll in Lethailid find druin, half its pieces were of yellow gold, the other half of white bronze, suggesting that Fidchell was played by equal forces. The Roman board game Ludus Latrunculorum was also played with pieces of equal numbers. Latrunculi is known from post-Roman Britain, and it is possible that Fidchell was a descendant of Latrunculi. The legends describe Fidchell as a game played by royalty, and by the gods. In legend, it was invented by Lugh, god of light and inspiration, and was played skillfully by his son, the hero Cuchulainn. A series of Fidchell games forms an important episode in Tochmarc-y-Dyn. Lavish, sometimes mystical gwyddbwyll boards appear often in medieval Welsh literature. In The Dream of Rhonabwy, a prose tale associated with the Mabinogion, King Arthur and Owain Maburian play the game with golden men on a silver board. In another prose tale, The Dream of Maxim Wledig, the character Udafhen is carving men for his golden board when he is visited by the Emperor Magnus Maximus. The board of Gwyndbwyll Absidio is named as one of the 13 treasures of the island of Britain in lists dating from the 15th and 16th centuries. According to the lists, the board is gold and the men silver, and the pieces play against each other automatically. A magic gwyddbwyll comparable to Gwendolen's appears in the Arthurian romance Peredur, son of Efraog. A number of French versions of the Holy Grail story feature similar chessboards with self-moving pieces. Following the second continuation of Creation de Troyes Perceval, the story of the Grail, though in these only one side moves, while the hero plays the other. Gameplay. As often as Fidchell is mentioned in legend and myth, we are still largely in the dark about how it was played. There are two main theories regarding the rules and board layout. One is that Fidchell is a variant of the Welsh game Tolbd, itself descended from the Norse DAFL games. These games, along with the Irish Brandub, are played on a grid, often 7 squares by 7, with the king in the middle. The king has a number of defending pieces around it at the beginning of the game, and they are surrounded by twice as many attackers. The object is to make a clear path for the king to the edge of the board, while the attackers must attempt to surround, and thereby capture, the king. This theory is supported by an artifact found in Ballinderry, County Westmeath in 1932, known as the Ballinderry game board. This is of a wooden board with Celtic symbols on it, with a 7x7 grid marked off by 49 holes. This artifact may be a TAFL variant, and perhaps even a Brandub board. Many commentators assume that it is the type of board upon which one would have played Fidchell. Reconstructions of probable rules proceed from there. However, there are a few difficulties with this commonly accepted view. First, the TAFL variants are usually played with unequal numbers of pieces, the attackers being twice as numerous as the defenders. Fidchell seems likely to have been played with equal numbers on both sides. Secondly, some claim that the TAFL games, especially Tolbed, were often played with a die made of a sheep's knucklebone, and this feature seems absent in Fidchell. In Wales, a clear distinction is made between Tolbed and gwyddbwyll, which, if also true of Ireland, would tend to indicate a similar distinction between Fidchell and Brandub. Historical impact. Fidchell, as described in the legends, often has a mystical or divinatory aspect to it. Battles ebb and flow as a result of the ebb and flow of a game of Fidchell. Games play themselves. Great events are decided on the outcome of a Fidchell match. This supernatural aspect is not as clearly reflected in the TAFL games. There is clear archaeological and textual evidence that a TAFL variant was played in Ireland in ancient times. What is not quite as certain is that this game was Fidchell.